I guess we're ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tanoe, Mr. Kim, and fellow students. My name is Moon Yu-kyung. I am the first presenter of our group. The topic of today's presentation is suicide, which you might hear almost every single day from the media. We chose this topic because we thought that suicide is one of the serious current issues right now in Korea. To give you a preview of the talk, the first two presenters will talk about the causes of suicide, and we divided it into two large perspectives, which are biopsychological and socio-economical. And then the last presenter will talk about three prevention methods of suicide according to the different ages. I'll be glad to take any questions at the end of my presentation. Okay, let's start with the reasons why people choose to end their lives. Actually, reasons for suicide are almost limitless and vary individually, because suicidal acts are complex human behaviors involving many aspects. Above all, I want to focus on biopsychological aspects divided three parts, which are psychological, biological, and genetic. First, psychological problem can cause people to have suicidal thinking and behaviors. According to the report written by the Healthcare Quality Improvement Partnership in 2010, it is estimated that 90% of people who attempt or die by suicide have one or more mental health conditions. Depression and schizophrenia, 정신분열증 in Korean, are the two most common mental illnesses that are associated with suicide. Events that are likely to bring on depression are loss of a loved one, failure in an important relationship, and any event that damages the moral or social surroundings of a person. Combined with major depression, individuals who abuse alcohol or other substances are also considered to be likely to commit suicide. Generally speaking, individuals under those kind of influences are considered to be much more impulsive, since most substances impair a person's judgment. It can possibly push someone to do things that he normally wouldn't do, such as attempt suicide. This is all about the psychological causes of suicide, including mental problems and substance abuse. Let's now look at the biological factor that triggers suicide. The connection between biology and suicidal behavior was noticed by a psychiatrist named Mary Esberg, who began to study how low levels of serotonin in the brain were related to suicides. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter which plays a role to control feelings of well-being and happiness. The researchers found that the brains of people who had died at their own hands had less amount of serotonin than ordinary people. Symptoms common in patients with the lack of serotonin include chronic daily headaches, mood disorders, and difficulties with memory and concentration. That is all about the second point, which is biological factor of suicide. Finally, let me tell you about the genetic factor making a person more vulnerable to suicidal thinking and behavior. A research from the book called A Twin Study of Suicide by Joel Nelson has shown that the risk for suicide can be inherited. People who have committed suicide or have suicidal thinking are more likely to have family members who commit suicide. A family history of suicide, mental disorders, or substance abuse may increase the risk of suicide. However, I'm not saying that there is a suicidal gene, that whoever had a copy of that gene would attempt suicide. As I mentioned before, suicide is a complex phenomenon involving a wide range of factors. Therefore, I would say that family history is just one among many factors that can contribute to a person's vulnerability. That's all I want to say on genetic factor. To sum up, I've talked about 3 factors that lead to suicidal acts, which are psychological, biological, and genetic. Thank you for listening.